There is a difference between making a sale and creating a shift. You see, selling isn't about pushing products, begging people, or chasing leads. Selling, at its core, is about transformation. It's about helping someone see what they can become, what they can achieve, and how their life can radically change, because they chose to work with you. Now listen, if you're waking up every day frustrated that you're not closing deals, not growing your income, not reaching your full potential, there's one hard truth you've got to face. You will never be able to sell until you believe in something bigger than your product. You will never be able to sell until your identity shifts, until your value rises, until your belief system gets aligned with who you truly are called to be. You're not in the business of products or services. You're in the business of transferring belief. When people hear your voice, they don't just hear words. They feel energy. They sense alignment or the lack of it. They respond to conviction, not cleverness. Sales isn't a skill you master in isolation. It's the byproduct of everything else that's aligned in your life. The truth is, you can't outmarket your mindset. You can't out-close your lack of confidence. You can't out-pitch your poverty programming. You can read 1,000 scripts, follow every webinar formula, run ads until your credit card is maxed. But until you shift, nothing shifts. This isn't about hype. This is about activation. If you can get this, if you can unlock this one truth, you'll never fear selling again. You'll walk into rooms with authority. You'll command attention. You'll stop chasing clients and start choosing them. But the key, you've got to become the version of yourself that people want to buy into before they buy from you. That means confronting the beliefs that tell you you're not enough. That means replacing insecurity with identity. That means knowing your value so deeply that you never have to discount your worth just to make a sale. Because when you sell from identity, not from insecurity, when you sell from purpose, not from pressure, when you sell from conviction, not confusion, that's when selling becomes effortless. That's when you become a magnet. That's when your message multiplies. So no, this is not another how-to on closing techniques. This is the truth you've been avoiding. This is the real reason you're not selling. And the exact reason why, once you fix this, everything will change. Let's dive in. You will never be able to sell until you believe in your own value. This is not just a principle. It is the foundation of every successful transaction, every confident pitch, every irresistible offer. Without belief in your own value, every word you speak will carry hesitation. Every price you name will feel like a burden. Every client you approach will sense that something is missing, and that something is certainty. People do not buy based on how good your product is. They buy based on how much you believe in the transformation you are offering them. And that belief starts with how deeply you understand and value yourself. If you don't believe in your own value, you will always over-explain, undercharge, overcompensate, and underperform. You will chase clients who don't see you. You'll beg for attention instead of commanding respect. You'll constantly feel like you need to prove yourself instead of positioning yourself. And the reason is simple. When you don't think you're enough, you'll try to make your product enough. But people buy from you before they ever buy what you sell. Your energy introduces your value long before your words do. You are the brand, you are the credibility, you are the reason someone will say yes or walk away. And when you truly believe in the value you bring, something powerful happens. Your posture shifts, your tone changes, you stop sounding like a salesperson and start sounding like a solution. You stop begging and start leading. You stop apologizing for your price and start demonstrating your worth. Believing in your own value means owning your story. It means seeing your experiences, your wins, your scars, your lessons, as assets, not accidents. It means realizing that everything you've overcome has equipped you to serve someone else at a higher level. That's not ego, that's clarity, and clarity sells. There is no marketing funnel, sales script, or offer stack that can compensate for a lack of self-worth. If you don't believe in your voice, your gift, your purpose, and your power, then no matter how good your strategy is, you'll always feel stuck. But when you wake up every morning knowing that you are the answer to someone's problem, that your presence is valuable, and that your offer carries transformation, you walk differently, you speak differently, and the marketplace responds differently. You will never be able to sell until your identity exceeds your insecurity. As long as who you believe you are is smaller than what you fear, you will always shrink in the face of opportunity. Sales is not about personality. It's about posture. It's not about being extroverted. It's about being aligned. And alignment only happens when your identity is rooted in truth, not trauma. Until you see yourself as more than your past, more than your failures, more than your doubts, every sales conversation will feel like a test instead of a transfer of value. You'll feel like you're performing instead of positioning. You'll approach people hoping they say yes because you need validation, instead of knowing they should say yes because you bring transformation. Insecurity makes you second. Guess your price. Insecurity makes you afraid to follow up. Insecurity makes you play small, speak soft, and show up halfway. But the moment your identity becomes bigger than your insecurity, everything shifts. That's when you stop worrying about what people think and start focusing on who you're becoming. That's when you stop shrinking to fit the expectations of others and start expanding into the potential God placed inside you. That's when you stop being a salesperson and start becoming a force of influence. Your insecurity will always whisper that you're not ready, that you don't know enough, that you're not as good as they are. But identity answers back with truth. Identity says you've been prepared. Identity says your voice matters. Identity says you belong in the room. The more you know who you are, the less you fear what others think. You can't lead with power if you're still battling for approval. You can't command the sale if you're still unsure of your own authority. You can't multiply impact if you're still wrestling with imposter syndrome every time you send a pitch. This is why selling is not just a business skill, it's a personal transformation. The better you know yourself, the better you'll be able to communicate your value. The more rooted you are in purpose, the less you'll depend on pressure. The more confident you are in your identity, the less you'll be shaken by objections, silence, or rejections. Sales becomes powerful when it flows from someone who no longer needs the sale to feel valuable. You must believe that you are worth listening to, that your offer is worth paying for, and that your presence is worth investing in. But that belief must come from identity, not ego. You will never be able to sell until your purpose becomes greater than your product. Because products don't move people, purpose does. You can have the most well-crafted offer, the most advanced features, the best pricing structure, and the most professional branding. But if there's no deeper reason behind it, people will feel emptiness. They may nod politely, they may even click around, but they won't be moved. And people don't buy based on logic alone, they buy based on meaning. They buy when they sense that what you're offering stands for something more than profit. They buy when your voice carries the weight of purpose. When your product becomes your focus, you sell from your head. You talk about features, specs, benefits, and bonuses. But when your purpose becomes your focus, you sell from your soul. You speak with conviction. You speak with clarity. You speak in a way that resonates far beyond the transaction. Because now, you're not just trying to close a sale. You're trying to open a door for someone's future. That kind of selling doesn't just create customers. It creates movements. Purpose is what gives your product power. It's what gives your story depth. It's what gives your pitch the kind of resonance that makes people lean in. You can sell a coaching program, a digital course, a service, or a system, but if the why behind it isn't clear, you'll struggle to get others to believe in it. People don't follow the seller with the most polished script. They follow the one who has a reason so strong, so real, so raw, that it inspires belief. Purpose is what makes that happen. When your purpose becomes greater than your product, you stop being afraid of rejection. You stop obsessing over conversions. You stop measuring success only in sales numbers and start measuring it in impact. Every conversation becomes an opportunity. Every pitch becomes a chance to serve. And every no becomes a lesson, not a loss. Your purpose should wake you up in the morning and drive you past every obstacle. Your purpose should be the fire that fuels your voice when doubt creeps in. When you sell with purpose, you don't sound like everyone else. You stand out. You carry a different frequency. You attract people not just because of what you sell, but because of what you stand for. That is the kind of selling that builds legacy. If your product is all you have, your success will be limited. But if your product is a vehicle for your purpose, the possibilities are endless. That's when people don't just buy from you, they believe in you. That's when they don't just purchase, they partner. And that's when selling becomes something sacred, because you're not just pushing a product. You're pulling people into possibility. And that, right there, is when your sales become unstoppable. You will never be able to sell until you stop needing validation from the buyer. As long as you're selling to be accepted, liked, approved, or affirmed, your power will always be in the hands of the other person. You will step into conversations already defeated, already unsure, already compromised, because the outcome isn't just about closing a deal. It's about filling a void inside you. And when you need something from the buyer instead of bringing something to the buyer, you've already disqualified your authority. The minute you base your value on whether someone says yes or no, you've surrendered your posture. And sales, at its highest level, requires posture. Not arrogance, not ego posture. The unshakable awareness that your worth is not up for negotiation. That your offer is not a favor, it's a solution. That you're not hoping to be picked. You're offering an invitation. This shift is everything, because when you're selling from a place of needing to be validated, you talk too much. You chase, you justify, you lower your price, you wait for permission, and buyers can feel that energy. They may not say it outright, but they sense your insecurity, and they begin to doubt what you're offering. But when you stop needing validation, you show up completely different. You speak with certainty, not desperation. You listen more. You posture yourself as a trusted advisor, not a needy seller. You're not trying to impress. You're trying to understand. You're not chasing approval. You're choosing alignment, and that kind of confidence is magnetic. It pulls the right people toward you and filters the wrong ones out. Most people think the secret to better sales is better scripts. But the truth is, the real shift happens when you stop handing the buyer emotional authority over you. You are not defined by who says yes and who says no. You are defined by the clarity you carry, the problem you solve, and the conviction you bring into the conversation. A buyer saying no is not a rejection of your value. It is simply a redirection, and when you believe that, you stop shrinking. You stop people-pleasing. You stop morphing your message to fit what you think they want to hear. You weren't made to sell from a place of emotional neediness. You were made to lead. You were made to speak boldly. You were made to walk into rooms and shift the temperature, not wait to be accepted. Every time you silence yourself just to keep someone interested, you train yourself to disconnect from your own power. And power is the very thing that creates results. So if you want to sell at a higher level, you must learn to detach from the outcome and anchor to your identity. You are not for everyone, and that's your advantage. When you stop needing validation from the buyer, you finally become free to speak truth, to stand tall, and to serve with excellence. And that freedom is what truly makes you unstoppable in the marketplace. You will never be able to sell until you learn to transfer belief, not just information. The truth is, people don't buy facts. They don't buy charts, graphs, or detailed breakdowns of features. They buy belief. They buy conviction. They buy certainty. They buy what they feel from you before they ever think about what you said to them. And that belief, real, raw, passionate belief, is what separates those who close deals from those who just talk. You could have the most detailed pitch, the perfect pricing, and all the technical knowledge in the world, but if you don't believe in what you're offering, no one else will either. Because belief is contagious. It moves through your words, your voice, your energy. People can feel when you mean it, and they can feel when you're faking it. You can't fake belief. You can fake confidence, you can memorize scripts, you can rehearse tonality. But belief only shows up when something deep inside you is fully aligned with what you're saying. Information educates, but belief activates. People aren't just looking to be educated, they want to be moved. They want to feel safe making a decision. They want to trust that someone truly knows what they're talking about and actually believes in what they're offering. If you sound uncertain, they will hesitate. If you sound transactional, they will walk. But if your belief is strong, people will lean in. They will feel that you see something they don't yet see, and they'll want to step into that vision. Your job is not to give people every detail. Your job is to make them believe that what you offer can solve their problem, shift their situation, or unlock their next level. That starts with your own belief. If there is doubt in you, there will be hesitation in them. If there is fear in you, there will be skepticism in them. If there is power in you, there will be trust in them. People follow energy, and the most powerful energy in sales is belief. You've got to believe in your product. You've got to believe in your process. But more than anything, you've got to believe in yourself. That what you're offering is not just a service or a system. It's a solution. It's a breakthrough. And when you speak from that place, your words hit differently. Your tone carries weight. Your presence becomes undeniable. That's when objections fade, questions shrink, and decisions are made with confidence. You will never be able to sell until you understand that sales is service at the highest level. Most people treat selling like a game of persuasion, like a test of tactics or a numbers game. But that's why so many struggle, because selling was never meant to be about convincing someone to do something they don't want to do. Selling is about helping people step into what they were already searching for. It's not manipulation, it's transformation. It's not pressure, it's purpose. And when you finally understand that, everything changes. Sales is not just a business transaction. It's an act of leadership. It's a moment where someone stands in front of you with a problem, a pain, a gap, and you get the opportunity to present a bridge. You get to show them a path they didn't see before. You get to invite them into a higher possibility. That's service, that's love, that's leadership. But if you're approaching it like a hustle, if you're showing up thinking you're just trying to close the deal, then you're missing the heart of the exchange. Sales becomes service when you truly care about the outcome of the person you're speaking to. When you care more about their breakthrough than your commission. When you stop asking, how can I get them to buy? And start asking, how can I help them move forward? That shift is the key. Because people can feel the difference. They can tell when you're in it for yourself and when you're in it for them. And trust is built not on words, but on intent. Selling is serving because you are offering someone a better version of their life. Whether you're selling coaching, a course, a product, a service, if it solves a real problem and brings real value, then offering it is an act of service. And holding it back because you're afraid of being pushy is actually selfish. Because you're letting your fear block someone else's future. That's not humility. That's hesitation. And people can't be helped by what you keep to yourself. When you begin to see sales as service, you stop feeling guilty about the price. You stop hesitating when it's time to invite someone into your offer. You stop second guessing your worth. You start showing up with boldness, with love, with full conviction, because you know what you bring can change lives. And that changes everything. You no longer chase. You no longer beg. You no longer twist your value to fit someone's doubt. Instead, you stand tall and you serve strong. You were never meant to hide your gift. You were meant to release it. And the way you release it is through the invitation called a sale. Not everyone will say yes, that's okay. But your job is to show up, speak with conviction, and serve with your whole heart. When you do that, sales becomes a sacred exchange, one that honors both you and the person you're helping. That's what sales is, service at the highest level. Let's bring it all together. You've heard the truth, piece by piece, line by line, and now it's time to make a decision not just in your business, but in your being. Because selling at the highest level isn't about what you say, what you charge, or what you're offering. It's about who you are. You will never be able to sell until every part of you is in alignment with the truth of your value, the power of your purpose, and the identity you carry. This isn't just about sales, it's about transformation. The real reason so many people struggle to sell isn't because they lack strategy. It's because they lack self-ownership. It's not a knowledge problem, it's an identity problem. They don't see themselves as powerful, worthy, or capable. So they show up in the marketplace begging for approval, lowering their prices, changing their pitch every week, trying to please everyone, and ending up exhausted and defeated. But once your identity exceeds your insecurity, you stop asking for permission. Once you believe in your own value, you stop justifying your worth. Once your purpose becomes louder than your product, you stop obsessing over scripts and start flowing with certainty. Once you stop needing validation from the buyer, you finally become free to lead. Once you understand that sales is service, you begin to speak from love, not lack. And once you learn how to transfer belief, not just information, you become a voice that moves people, not just one that talks to them. The marketplace doesn't need more noise, it needs more truth, and the most powerful truth you can bring is the one you've lived. You can't teach confidence, you carry it. You can't fake alignment. It either flows or it doesn't. That's why the real work isn't outside of you. It's not in better ads, flashier branding, or more social media content. The real work is within. Your next level of income, impact, and influence is directly tied to how deeply you're willing to own who you are and show up accordingly. You are not in business to chase people. You are in business to change people, and that change begins with you. If you want to sell with power, lead with belief. If you want to close more deals, serve more deeply. If you want to create momentum, anchor your message in mission. And if you want to scale your results, scale your identity first. This is your call to rise not just as a salesperson, but as a leader, as a messenger, as a difference maker. You have something valuable, you carry something needed, and the world is waiting on you to stop playing small and start showing up with everything you've got. The sale is not the goal, the transformation is. The sale is just the doorway, and now that you have the keys, it's time to unlock the impact you were born to make. Walk in confidence, speak with purpose, sell with belief, serve with power, and never forget this is not just about making money. This is about stepping fully into your calling.